Cam. I'm a videographer and drone pilot here in Breckenridge, Colorado, and about a month and a half ago I took a little miniature road trip on my dad's motorcycle, 1995 BMW 1100 GS, an adventure touring bike, and I did part of the Backcountry Discovery Route, and it was so much fun I had to bring my dad along, so he brought his KTM Adventure, and we did a 4-night, 5-day trip from southwest Colorado up to the north. And we're here to kind of talk about it and tell you what we learned, what we liked, what we didn't like, and give you some tips and tricks along the way.
Yeah, I can't tell you how much I appreciate Cam getting me involved in this. I just gotten my 1-year-old KTM 1190R, which incredible bike, and getting tried out here has been fantastic. And this ride is something that we both thought that every adventure tour dual sport guy would totally enjoy. So we're going to tell you what we got out of it, how we do it again, and by the way, we plan to do it again with a bigger group next year. That's how good it is.
So on day one, we left Saturday around 3 o'clock and just drove straight down to Highway 50. We didn't start at the beginning of the trail just because we didn't really have time. We didn't really want to drive all the way down there just to drive back up. But we packed a lot of gear, a lot of camping stuff, a lot of clothes, a lot of camera gear. But driving there was half the fun.
We picked the trail up just outside of Telluride off of the $1 Million Highway, which is not to be missed itself. And then the trail opened our eyes pretty quickly. One thing we learned, and notice this throughout the trip, this is for intermediate and above riders. It is challenging, especially with bigger bikes loaded down with camping gear. We got through it without going down, but we both think that's because we're lucky. It was there was plenty of times that we could have, but heed the advice, intermediate and above. And the other thing we learned is they have really thought these segments out well. That's plenty for a day of riding. We thought we might do more. We were wrong. You want to have time to look around. Again, just so well put together. And this first day was as dramatic as it can get. The camera cannot do the scenery justice. It just blows you away.
You're riding on this $1 Million Highway, appropriately named. Then you just take a right off onto the dirt road, and all of a sudden, before you realize it, you're above tree line, riding these mountain passes that we're looking at now, and it's unreal, man. You feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, above tree line, looking down at lakes way below you, in this rocky dirt road that no one seems to ride, and yeah, it's pretty hard to beat. Day one was a good way to start.
Oh, yeah, we were blown away that night. Camping, we just couldn't stop giggling almost.
Back a few weeks ago when I did this by myself, I camped out both nights just because out of necessity. Didn't have the money to stay in a hotel, so I thought it would be great to do it again. We have sleeping bags and tents. We thought we'd be all right. A little bit late in the year, the colors of the aspen trees made it worth it, but it was about 27 degrees in the morning when we woke up camping, and so at night it was great. We loved drinking whiskey by the fire and hanging out and talking shit, basically. In the morning, though, it's just frigid cold. You can't ride until 8:30 or something. So we realized the camping thing was cool, but not a necessity.
For this 58-year-old guy, a good bed and a shower were really important. It is dusty out there. Another thing that we learned, painful for my wallet, the brand new 1-year-old KTM held up extremely well, no issues. 20-year-old BMW was showing its age a bit, and Cam didn't. He didn't hold back. As you can see from this footage, we took a few hits. That's where some of that extra cord came in to hold the skid plate up. But these roads are rough, and they're tough on your equipment even without going down, and they're tough on you. I mean, we both think we're in okay shape, and at the end of the day, you're ready to rest. It's a good full day, good on both man and machine.
Also caught maybe some of the best aspens we've seen the whole trip. We were riding single file, and then I forgot who was first, but we both stopped where we were and said, okay, we have to film this section, and then you'll see it here in a second. But it's just bright blue sky, perfectly yellow aspen trees, and you're on this dirt road in the middle of nowhere with your dad or your buddy or whatever, and pretty hard to beat. So we had pretty good day on this third day out there for sure.
Incredible. A great time of year to go.
So after a night at the hotel, we're ready for day 4. Yeah. So we spent the night near Edwards, I think, Edwardsvale area. But we had some of the best, maybe in my opinion, some of the best dirt riding that we found. It was like 40, 30, 40, 50 mile an hour speeds, but you're still on this skinny dirt road, but you can get that back wheel to drift out a little bit. You're taking turns kind of fast and some bumps, and just a really good mixture of not crazy fast, not crazy slow, but fun third gear, ripping up riding.
Yeah, stuff that these big bikes do really well. It wasn't covered with rocks, but just really exciting and beautiful again. And then unfortunately we were turned back and had to end our trip, but another great day.
Yeah, we had a couple of those road closures as well, but
Yeah.
took you through some pretty cool towns, middle of nowhere, and pretty isolated. You know, you still feel like you're close to I-70, but kind of small rural Colorado areas. But all in all, pretty good.
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
And in closing, we just wanted to go over a few things that each of us personally learned that we'd like to share with you guys that we didn't think about going into this ride. Number one would be to pack less. You know, like we mentioned, if you're staying in hotels, you can probably get away with a backpack for all your clothes you need for 5 days. We also didn't use any GPS. We heard that was a pretty big necessity. We had the paper map, which helps from time to time for sure. It was pretty pivotal, but we also relied on local knowledge a lot. And lastly, you can't discount duct tape, extra rope, extra bungee cords. That stuff's going to break.
And chain lube.
Chain lube is a big one.
Yeah, definitely want a huge appreciation to the team at TourTech putting this thing together. I don't know, I could spend all the time in the world and I'd never come up with this kind of route. And I know they've done it in other states. I'm anxious to ride those. It is extremely well thought out, designed. The days, the segments are right, everything. So they've done a real service to the entire adventure touring community. The other thing that I got out of it is, although the KTM is a much better bike probably, or more enjoyable for this type of riding, being that it's more dirt oriented, it really, in the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like always, it's where you're riding and who you're riding with. And I was lucky enough to be with my son, which doesn't get any better than that. And best riding I've ever done. I've been riding for 20-some years, and this is just fantastic. The riding is second to none, and the scenery is above that. So don't worry about the bike so much. Worrying about getting out there and doing it, you will not be disappointed in this ride. I will guarantee that. It's that good. As long as you get good weather, this thing's incredible. Yeah,
you're riding every type of terrain possible. I think I'm trying to go over. We did high alpine dirt road passes at like 12,000 feet or something. $1 million highway with these paved, twisty mountain passes where you're just leaning the bike over, almost dragging the pegs, it feels like. High dirt roads, like 75 mile an hour dirt roads, just hitting it straight, tucking, and there's technical stuff too. There's sandy section, there's creek crossing, there's berms, there's jumps to hit near Buena Vista. It's everything you can want in one ride. It's kind of ridiculous that it's all together, but someone linked it all up, and it made it pretty, not foolproof, but pretty hard to beat.
Heck of a service. Big thanks to TourTech. Well done, guys.
Thanks, guys. Until next time, we'll see you later. The BMW is belt driven, so that was enclosed, obviously, but the
Shaft.
KTM
Driven.
Damn it.
That's okay. That's a good.
I'm gonna cut that out.
Keep going. Okay. Great camping hotel.
Great camping in the Radisson or classy hotel.